Well, Wander Franco and Jose Siri weren't enough as the St. Louis Cardinals defeat your Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 6-4 at the Trop.
A bullpen day gone awry. We'll touch on that, plus some power rankings from Locked On, starting right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we're the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the social media channels that are out there at Locked On Rays. And email us anytime. We love the mailbag questions, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Well, the Cardinals defeat the Rays by a score of 6-4. The Rays fall to 69-47 on the year, while the Cardinals improve to 50-65. They got win number 50. I heard that they're the last team in the National League to do that. I've not looked at the standings lately, but I can just tell you that the Cardinals are not a good team this year. They're even worse post-trade deadline, so it's unfortunate that the Rays took the L in that regard. But at this point, it's about winning series, and they'll have a chance to do that tonight.
Yeah, and as we're recording right now at 10:20 p.m. on a Wednesday, the game in Baltimore has not ended, but it's looking good. So I just want to put it out there that right now we're currently 2.5 games back, but it could go back to 2 games if the Astros finish off that game. Look, bullpen days are fun. They are entertaining as a fan when you understand that every guy's going to have a different look and you get sidewinders and different pitches, and that's all fine and dandy. But, you know, one guy, 2 guys might not be 100%, and then now you're behind the 8 ball, and that's what happened. You know, Jalen Beeks, I thought he was fine. I think that first inning, he was incredible, man.
Yeah.
I got to give a shout out to Austin Holloway, who invited me to the game. We were right there behind home plate, and he was looking so fresh, man, that first inning. I mean, Austin was telling me he does not want to go back to AAA after that first inning. And It seemed like that's exactly what that chip on his shoulder. But then, yeah, he got a little bit of trouble in the second inning, and then Kevin Kelly got even into more trouble in his outing. You know, he's been fine, but again, he's a rookie pitcher, and he's going to have those things happen to him. And besides, you know, again, bullpen days are difficult. One guy or 2 guys are not on their game. It's going to be tough.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because it would have been Shane McClanahan's scheduled date to pitch, although in Shane McClanahan's current state since mid-June, it probably would have worked out the same way, unfortunately, for the Rays. But yeah, that's a good point where you have to have 5, 6, 7 guys, pitchers on their game at the same time. That's just not an easy feat in any regard. Yeah, I wonder if the Rays maybe could have just let the string go on Jalen Beeks. I don't know what he's worked up to, or just see, hey, can you give us 3? Can you give us 4? Can you give us 4 in a third? I mean, there wasn't anything that I thought that said, oh my gosh, he's a disaster waiting to happen. But I'm not the manager, so.
Yeah, no. Good point. Maybe that's what they pre-planned, and that was it. You know, 2 innings per. But yeah, he looked good, man. And I do have a bone to pick with. Look, Kevin Kelly has been fine, and he's been more than fine. He's exceeded expectations,
especially as a rookie, a guy that nobody had heard of. That was a Rule 5 pick.
Yes.
We knew about the unique, quirky arm angle, which I think there's something to be said for that, having the different looks and being able to befuddle hitters and each time through the order, giving guys a different taste now and again. But sometimes you're going to get beat up, especially as a rookie. And as much as the Cardinals have been crap this year, their offense is still potent. It is still powerful. I didn't see many position players that the Cardinals traded off or gave away on their roster. They still have the likes of Goldschmidt and Arenado and Nolan Gorman, just big old dudes that can intimidate you and hit the ball out of the ballpark and hit the ball hard and find holes in the defense as well and take advantage of opportunities. You leave a hanger up, those guys are going to do some sort of damage with it.
Yeah, they are. But I'm not really upset about the outing itself because, like you said, all of those things, you're completely right. What I'm upset about is the not upset about, but I just like it's like that kind of itch that you don't really notice until it's been a minute, and you're like, oh, that's bothering me. His post-game conference, post-game statements, he attributed everything to bad luck, kind of. He's like, no, I don't want to say bad luck. I don't want to say lucky hits, but, you know, I was just like, I don't like when pitchers do that. I don't like it. I mean, you can like it. He can like it. She can like it. They can like it. I don't like it. I don't like it because it's poo-pooing the opponents. They did their job. I mean, and again, if you're a Locked On Race listener and a Race fan, and you're saying, well, they were lucky hits, Ulises, just put yourself in the other situation. If a Cardinals pitcher, a Yankees pitcher, let's make that a Yankees pitcher goes and the Rays win, and the Yankees pitcher goes like, well, I don't want to say lucky, but you know, kind of lucky hits. Would you like that as a Rays fan? I don't think so. So I'm not a fan of when pitchers attribute, you know, the Savon low exit velo as guys getting like, you didn't do their job. They did.
Right.
I'm sorry. Let other people say that, not you.
Hey, at least he stepped up and made some comments after giving up 5 hits and 3 earned runs and a walk over the course of 2 innings, which put a sour taste for the rest of that game for sure. We have more to discuss, but first we have to tell you about Game Time. Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals. Forget planning months in advance. Game Time has deals on tickets right up to the day of the event. Get exclusive flash deals on tickets for football, basketball, baseball, concerts, comedy, theater, and so much more. The Game Time guarantee means you'll always get the best price. If you find tickets in the same section and row for less, Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. It's the fastest growing ticketing app in the country for a reason. Get images of your seat before you buy so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. Just buy tickets in a matter of seconds, 2 taps, and you're set. Tickets are sent directly to your phone, so you never have to dig through that email of yours. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB, LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Looking at the game and it being a bullpen day, Beeks, Kelly, Armstrong, Stephenson, Poche, Diekman, Jason Adam, and Pete Fairbanks did not pitch. But if you add those 2 into the fold with the other guys I mentioned, just bringing this up as a question or a point, does that give you confidence as a Rays fan that that bullpen can be solid enough in the playoffs with everything else that is going on this roster between offense, defense, starting pitching?
It's a good bullpen. It's not the best that we've ever seen. And in an age where you don't really know what this offense is going to give you, you are really kind of struggling with your starters, which means that you have to put more innings on the bullpen, which we saw that today.
Right.
It's behind the 8 ball again. So yes, is it a good bullpen? Yeah, but it's not the best, and it's not the best right now in the league, and obviously not the best that we have seen as Rays fans.
I just think that Rays fans, included, spoiled because the bullpens have been so good. 1, 2, 3, 4 in the league, and this I have not looked up the numbers lately, but middle-ish of the pack. Top third, maybe, but it doesn't seem to have that that pizzazz of prior iterations, and then you add the starting pitching injuries on top of it. It doesn't look too great there, but I think there's some silver linings in there. There's some guys in there that have potential, and they can go on a streak, or they can go on a good run. Looking at you, Poche, Stevenson, Armstrong, Diekman, some others as well. So I'd be very
Diekman's
curious.
been the man. I really like his delivery. I really like what he has brought. That was a really smart move by the front office. So Diekman has been my guy since coming in. Go back on the tape. I really like that pickup. I do have a question for you, because we didn't get to talk about this together. We did in the separately in the episode on Tuesday, or rather Wednesday. Is it possible to say these two things at the same time? Eflin, Glasnow, and Savali are enough to go deep into the playoffs. Can you say that? And then, you haven't really lost anything with Shane McClanahan. Can you say that, and at the same time say Shane McClanahan is a Cy Young caliber pitcher? Can you say those two things at the same time?
I would say yes. Yeah, absolutely. You can say those things.
Wouldn't it be a mutually exclusive? Like, how can you say that everything is fine when you just are also saying you just lost a Cy Young pitcher?
Because the Rays are balanced and strong enough in other areas as well. So I don't know if are you disagreeing with that? You don't think that Eflin and Savali and Glasnow are enough to get through? I mean, I look at the playoffs as a crapshoot oftentimes, and we have to also see how healthy these other teams are going to stay. I'm just not willing to give up on the season when we're not even in late September or October yet. Let's let the games play and the season go through the string.
100%.
I'm not saying, it's not like, oh my gosh, this is great news that Shane McClanahan is hurt and he's gone for good. But this team has dealt with adversity, and I think this clubhouse is strong enough to, kind of find some inner strength and inner wisdom. I mean, how many injuries have they dealt with in previous years and still gone incredibly and extremely further than anybody else expected?
Yes, but what I'm saying is, I don't think that one of those three guys is replacing a Cy Young contender.
Okay.
Is it not?
I think Glasnow, when Glasnow is on his game and healthy, he is a Cy Young contender, or he pitches like a Cy Young contender. So there's your Cy Young right there.
So Glasnow is not being. So he would have been there if Shane would have been there. So who is the odd man out? If Shane McClanahan was there, which one is the drop off? Is it Eflin or is it Savali?
Oh, I'd say Savali most likely. Sure.
I think so too. So all I'm saying is that I don't know. I feel like it's okay to say chances have decreased.
Right.
But the world isn't on fire and the season is lost. I'm not saying that, but I do feel like it has to be acknowledged that if we believe that Shane McClanahan is a Cy Young type pitcher, which he has shown to be 2 years in a row, then we have to admit that this loss it's a big punch.
I will say though, again, just trying to play devil's advocate to some extent, it's not like Shane McClanahan had been dealing up to this injury. Like, he'd been crummy for a month and a half, more than a month and a half, and he'd been on the injured list. And I know the Rays had their worst month in July, but it's not like this came out of nowhere where, oh my gosh, Shane McClanahan has carried us so far this season and now we're screwed. Like, they've weathered the storm, or they can, I think, weathered the storm through this. Now, if one more of those guys go down, then I think all bets are more or less off the table. Again, I'm not confident that Taj Bradley can handle and step up in that role as of yet. Maybe down the line when he has more experience, sure. But I think there's too much to play for to just wilt away and say, oh, let's not even watch. Let's move on to football season, college football starting, NFL starting.
It's too early for that, but I just wanted to acknowledge that I think the Rays have taken a big hit here. But obviously they can get it done. Glasnow, Savali, and Eflin. But I just wanted to acknowledge that, like, yeah, this is a big punch in the gut. But
it's not just for this year, but next year too. I mean, he could miss a huge chunk of next year.
Yeah. Well, you could be missing Springs for sometime next year, McClanahan for some time next year, and Rasmussen. So it just becomes kind of a thinker of like, okay, well, does that mean that Glasnow definitely stays because you need an ace, because you need somebody to have that rotation spot? Or do you go, we might not have it for next year. Do we just sell high on Glasnow? Like, that could have happened too,
That could be something to think about as well. So, I mean, luckily, they have Wander Franco playing well and other portions of the offense playing well, as we saw in today's game, or early, whatever. We're recording on a Wednesday evening. It is what it is. But it's nice to see Jose Siri continuing to lead the team in homer. Man, he's got some easy power. I don't know how he does it. If he could just, I'm going to harp on the strikeout rate and the on-base percentage. Then again, if he was that much better in strikeout rate and on-base percentage, you'd be looking at an MVP. But he legitimately has, and just the defense too, how he has so much flair out in center field and lifts the glove up at the very last second. And he just brings a lot of enthusiasm and fun to the game, which I think is needed. But dynamic player. And I mean, I think he has the skill set to be, a 25-45 player if it worked out. I know the stolen bases aren't on par this season, but
because he needs to get on base. Because he doesn't have the opportunity to get on base, And
when he's either striking out or hitting homers, I guess, or making incredible plays defensively in the outfield, just over the shoulder grabs that just super hard balls hit off the bat, and it doesn't throw him off. Like he just glides and jogs, and I honestly thought in that game that he was going to leg out that infield hit. But Nolan Arenado doing Nolan Arenado things. The transfer from glove to hand is just on another level. And I thought he was safe at that point, but then I saw the replay and he was out. And that was part of the reason why the Cardinals won that game, is because their defense stepped up between him and Tommy Edman and some others as well. So
the Edman play really got that was good. No, Siri, he's surprising everybody, even surprising himself. He said in the post game, that he has been a little bit surprised about his power. 23 in mid-August. I mean, that's ridiculous. This guy, if you're looking into 2-3 years in the future and he stays healthy, I mean, and he grows even more into his body, because he's a young dude. So you're seeing 30 homer power from your center fielder. Like,
I mean, he's probably great, one of the lighter or lightest guys on the team. I think. Well, Curtis Mead is listed as lighter than Jose Siri, but if he continues to be in the shape he's in, and maybe, like you said, grows and develops into his body, maybe that brings on a little bit more power. So we saw that. We saw Wander Franco hitting a moonshot. It's nice to see, guys going toe-to-toe, and maybe there's some inner competition there between teammates, between Paredes and Randy and Wander and Siri of, hey, who's going to lead the team in homers? I think there might be a little game with that, which Paredes, like I saw a stat on Valley Sports that he's up there with guys named Shohei Ohtani and Adolis Garcia for most home runs since July, or in the month of July. And like we haven't even talked about Isaac Paredes. I guess he just continues. He's perpetually and perennially under the radar. I guess it's just because we know all his home runs are pull homers. So it's like, oh, seen this before, been there, done that. It's just, I don't know. I can't really explain it, because it's partially our fault, but partially I think everybody's fault that they don't give any attention to Paredes.
Well, you know what? I got to give on yesterday's episode.
Wednesday's
episode. Yeah. I went off. I got on my little platform and I went off. And I said, Isaac Paredes needs to be in the lineup every day. Punto. Don't give me swing planes. Don't give me matchups. Don't give me, well, on Wednesdays, he eats soup. And this pitcher really strikes out guys who eat soup on Wednesday. So we're going to sit him down for this one. No, I don't need that. This is the Jeff Keppinger 2012 moment where BA said in like early August, Joe Madden needs to put Jeff Keppinger in the lineup every day. So this is me saying this. Isaac Paredes needs to be in the lineup every day. Unless he's hurt, unless he's nursing something, fine. But not because, oh, I like this matchup. No, he's your guy. Just like Wander's your guy at shortstop, just like Yandy needs to be in first base or DH. Like you find a place, you can find a place for Isaac Paredes at third, second, first, or DH every single day. Enough.
Yeah.
Enough playing. This guy needs to play, man. He's one of your best run producers. And if you see the month to month, he's always been above average WRC plus wise. Like,
right.
This guy needs to play, man. Enough.
Yeah. And you wonder what, if that is the case and he continues to perform like he is, what that means for a guy like Curtis Mead, who I think is maybe pressing a little bit and trying to find his footing and trying to find his way. But Paredes at this juncture has it. And that's why I continue to go back and harp on the point of, you don't want to mess with this group too much. We can, talk about all these prospects we love and what they could be, what Kyle Manzardo could be or could have been, what Curtis Mead could be or could have been, Jonathan Aranda even. But it's like you got a pretty solid core right now that have been there, done that, shown it, and have playoff experience, which, kind of goes into our power ranking segue to some extent. That we have here. I don't know if we've even discussed the Locked On MLB power rankings that the fellow Locked On host vote upon, but they have collectively voted the Rays fifth. I'll just run through the top 10. Braves, Orioles, there it is on YouTube. Braves, Orioles, Rangers, Dodgers, Rays, Astros, Blue Jays, Phillies, Giants, and Mariners. And then number 30, by the way, is the Athletics. But my point was, a team like, and we've mentioned this before, a team like the Orioles, they don't have that playoff experience collectively as a group, maybe a guy here or there. But I think that's something that plays to the Rays' advantage. It also plays to the Braves and the Dodgers and the Astros advantage, and you can go on down the list even to the Blue Jays as well. But looking at those rankings is, I guess my question based on that is, out of those teams, do you have a clubhouse leader as of today for who would be the best, most likely World Series contender? Is it the Braves? Is it the Orioles? Is it the Rays? Is it the Dodgers? Is it the Rangers? Is it somebody else? Is it Houston?
I really like the Braves, man. I think they've got everything under control. I think their team OPS is like near 800. It's silly. It's silly what they're doing there in Atlanta. And they've got the pitching to boot. They've got Sean Murphy and Travis d'Arnaud as a catching tandem. Like, what? Like, how do you what? That's ridiculous, man. So yeah, they've got an MVP type guy at third base too. Austin Riley, something fell. Third base, Acuna, dude. I just Olsen is like hitting bombs every day now. That's a very good team. That's a very good team. So I would give them the edge. I don't disagree much with the top five. I mean, Braves first, yeah. Orioles second, they look really good. Is the bullpen going to hold on and be that effective? Maybe, maybe not. Rangers, all-star galore infield. So is Josh Young going to be a detriment, with the thumb injury? Is he going to be out enough time that he might not be back? The Dodgers, they're a wagon. And then the Rays. I think that's a good top five. Yeah.
What's amazing about the Braves is unless I'm missing something, I cannot keep up with all the injuries and updates and this and that in the transaction wire. I just don't have time for that. But Max Fried, Kyle Wright, and Charlie Morton they legitimately, assuming they're healthy at this point, get to 200 innings apiece. Fried has 185 and a third. Wright has 180 and a third, and Morton has 172. And you have two other guys that have well over 100. Spencer Strider, 131 in 2/3, and Ian Anderson, 111 in 2/3. So I think they should be well enough set for a playoff run. We know who we think we know who they're 1, 2, 3, and if needed, a 4 or 5, and go on down the list from there as well.
Yeah. How many did you even name Spencer Strider? No, you didn't.
Yeah, Spencer Strider is the number 4 guy, 131. And Kenley Jansen having a resurgence with 41 saves this year.
Of course. No, again, like they're a wagon, man.
Yeah, they have the
Everything.
fountain of youth, the magic fairy dust to get guys on the right track, or they get guys that are already good and make them better. There's something going on. Next thing
you know, Yanni Perinos is going to just be, starting a playoff game for them.
That's what I've been saying. Something could happen, or at least get some meaningful playoff action. It might be a case of the 2020 as being, these are the teams that win World Series. It's either going to be the Braves, the Dodgers, the Astros. That's it. You can just kind of, put those three balls in a glass and pick them out, year by year.
No, okay, so we both agreed the Braves are the number 1 favorite right now?
Yeah, I would say so as of this juncture. And maybe the YouTube commenters have some other ideas. I'd be curious to see if anybody says, hey, do you have the Rays as the top World Series contender? I don't know many who would. Maybe in early mid-April, we would have thought that after that 13-0. Again, long season. A lot of things can happen.
This was done before the Shane McClanahan news, right? So they got Braves, Orioles, Rangers, Dodgers, Rays. Houston is at number 6. After the Shane McClanahan news, does this make you think that Houston has a better shot at the World Series than the Rays? Or would you still put the Rays above the Astros?
Yeah, I'd put the Astros ahead of the Rays, and I might even put the Blue Jays ahead of the Rays.
Okay, I won't go that far. You know how I feel about the Blue Jays. I think they're an overrated, a bit better version of the Chicago White Sox. I think they're overrated.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, that's why I kind of go back to, again, McClanahan news, all that taken into account. Remember 2021, the Rays won 100+ games and they wilted. So that stuff can happen as well.
The Phillies, how many wins did the Phillies have last year? 88, 87? They got to the World Series game 6, man.
But I'm willing to put it on the board. Rangers versus Braves.
It would be fun. That would be a fun World Series. Again, this is August 9th. So a lot can happen, but the division's still at play. You can still get through it, but it's going to be tougher now. And that's, I think, something that we need to acknowledge as Rays fans. It's going to be tougher now. It was going to be tougher without Springs. Then it was going to be tougher without Rasmussen, and it has been. And now it's going to be tougher without Shane McClanahan.
That is fair. For all we know, it could be a Blue Jays Brewers World Series. Crazy things have happened. Just saying. All right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. We plan to have Evan Klosky on Friday's show. I'm sure he has some comments on the Shane McClanahan information there. In the meantime, hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you tomorrow.